Alrighty, Dirty Sports Podcast, episode 718. We will officially start the show in 5, 4, 3. Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast. I am your host, Andy Ruther, coming to you live from Cincinnati, Ohio, with my co-host from Los Angeles, California, Joey No Chill Praino.
Good morning, Andrew.
How's it going, man?
You're at good afternoon, Cincinnati time, Andrew.
Yeah.
It's going well. Everything's good. Went out and golfed at 6:50 a.m. tee time this morning. Got a quick 9 holes in at our former neighborhood golf course, Penmar. Got 9 holes in with our boy Laz and our boy Justin Wood. And, it's Masters Thursday. Tug got me all excited with that Masters preview pod he did. So I went out there, played 9, came home. It's Mets home opener. It's Masters Thursday. We got a Dirty Sports Podcast. We got a Stakes app basketball game tonight. It's moving and grooving. It's Thursday, but it feels like a Friday.
By the way, again, that is a bonus episode on the Dirty Sports Podcast feed. Joe and Tug doing a Masters preview. So listen to it.
Yeah, thank you guys for all the positive feedback. For those of you who have already listened to it, we appreciate it. Tug is turned.
Now let's get to what I want to discuss. I don't care about your golf game, no offense. What is the current homeless encampment situation?
Nothing at Penmar.
Because the last time you and I golfed, no exaggeration, which I posted on Twitter, if we recall, was a mile-long homeless encampment.
Yes. The homeless have been removed from the Penmar golf course and the surrounding areas.
Where do they go, Joe? Where?
Well, I mean, I'm just assuming right down by our apartments, but I have heard also, and I'm sure
where we used to live.
Yeah. I'm sure you remember this. I didn't know that they ever kind of moved from there. I thought that the place that was consistent, but apparently the reports are that they have returned to there. Remember where the storage space is over on like 4th by Gold's Gym?
Correct. Yes.
So apparently that's where the Penmar encampment has moved to. And I was like, but they already have an encampment there.
Yeah. I was going to say that was already
Thanks,
massive.
Obama.
I think, okay. You want to hear something crazy though? I went to the Reds game yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
It's not crazy. It's normal. And as I'm walking through, there's some beautiful parks by the stadium. And I parked, I don't know, 3/4, half a mile away. And it's a lovely park and it's along the river.
It's a lovely park.
And you go under some overpasses. I will say I didn't see a single homeless person. Like, I know it's different, but it's 85 degrees yesterday. Like, why? Get it to figure it out. I don't know the solution. This isn't my job.
Everybody in history that's ever been like, if I was going to be homeless, I'd be homeless in California or in Miami. It's like, there is some truth to that. It's like, what are you going to do being homeless in Ohio? There's 2 different kinds of homeless as well. As you know, there's, people who are down and out, and there's people who choose to be homeless. And I mean, you know this as well as I do from following like the Venice 311 feed and whatever. Like, the old saying, like every, the prom queen from every high school in America moves to Los Angeles thinking she's going to be a star. Well, the white guy with dreads from every high school class also moves to Venice Beach to live in a tent and skateboard at the skate park. So there's 2 different kinds of homeless. And unfortunately, California draws from all the different kinds of homeless populations.
Yeah. And I'm not going to debate that, but again, moving them from one location to another location a mile down the road, you have solved nothing. But hey, we're not here to figure that out. We are here to talk so much sports, and I'm in a good mood. Joe, you said you were in a good mood. You already
great mood.
Hit the links. I have not had such a great just day in general as just seeing a game yesterday.
Yeah, let's talk about it. So it was Reds. Who did they play?
The lowly Pirates, who
The
is
lowly Pirates.
oh boy, not good.
Pirates need to sell to Mark Cuban already.
I didn't realize that the Pirates are projected around 50, 55 wins. They're going to be this bad.
Yeah.
And
meanwhile, the Big Red Machine is on a 5-game winning streak. You've got we talked about this on Dirty Slides yesterday. A new episode of Dirty Slides also out now. I've done like 5 podcasts this week. But the Reds run differential this year is plus 37. They've played 6 games.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. And yesterday, I mean, they're up 11-0. Garrett gives up a grand slam in the bottom of the 9th. So it could be even more. But they hit, man. Yesterday, we got to our seats right before the game starts. First pitch again.
Who'd you go with? Cutter
and a couple of his buddies. Second row. Dude, the social distancing seats is kind of cool because you don't got to deal with people.
Right. A foul ball comes to your area, it's yours.
Oh yeah, and we were in prime area, and there, we were right by Nick Castellanos, so we were out there, second row.
And he was playing yesterday. He is appealing his suspension for flexing on the guy at home plate.
Such a dumb suspension, huh?
Yeah, I agree. We talked about that on Slides too. It's just like, hey, if you're prepared for the the blowback from Iversoning over Ty Lue, somebody at home plate, it's fine. Like there's doesn't seem any reason why that calls for a suspension for anybody.
No. And I don't know what the status of getting out of those is, but I really hope that appeal obviously works.
Well, the good news is you guys have probably more bats than you can use right now.
Well, the manager, Bell's going to mess it up, in my opinion, at some point. But yeah, we do. And like Tyler Naquin, first pitch of the game, boom, gone.
Right.
And that's back-to-back days.
And Naquin, I don't even think Naquin will be in the lineup regularly, right? I mean, that's not the plan.
It wasn't the plan, but
how do you not play him when he's hitting?
When he's hitting, so basically they have him, Nick Senzel, who always gets hurt, Winker, Shogo, and Castellanos. So we'll see. I mean, the game though was just, it was perfect. It was like low 80s. We were in the sun. Reds had 4 home runs. Castillo was dealing. I think he threw 81 pitches and 61 were strikes. So he was dealing, a lot of fun, but just to be at a game, man, just to be at a sports event and hear people. I don't know if it's because they're winning, but I could feel that vibe with the players.
Mm-hmm.
Like Castellanos was one of the guys we were with, kept talking to him, and he would look back, nod, wait, like they were interacting. Even the Pirates who were getting smashed, Polanco was interactive with the crowd in the outfield. I just felt like you could see it even within the players on both teams. Hey, we have fans, just to interact with fans. And it's Cincinnati, so it's not
and it's
annoying fans.
I asked you because, for the Mets game next week, you have to show either a negative COVID test within 72 hours or your full vaccination. I know you said that they didn't require anything like that to attend the game. What besides the, pod seating was different?
Basically that, the in-between innings, they'd go down and hold up a sign, wear your masks, which even that, as you can't enforce if you got a drink right in front of you or a hot dog. You know what I'm saying? Like most people were wearing their masks when they should, but even that, again, if I got a bunch of bottles of water in front of me, the continual process.
Like, does a Harambe mask count as a mask?
Right.
I'm back, baby.
But obviously when you're in the foyer, whatever area, walking around, you have to have something on. But it felt just like a normal game minus the pod thing. And it probably worked out great because the Reds are probably getting that crowd anyway.
Right.
On a day.
It's like I was saying, when they started opening up comedy clubs, like no one's better to headline your comedy club if you can only sell 30% of your tickets than Joe Praino. Which reminds me, Andy, this is a good time because no one ever sticks around for our plugs. For me to plug that I will be at the Stand in New York City, the world famous, the Stand, famous from Joe Praino Takes the Stand. They are calling it Joe Praino Back at the Stand. Wednesday, the 14th. I'm doing a show there. Very, very limited. So I hope if anybody's listening to this in the New York tri-state area or driving distance, please come help comedy come back to New York City. Come see me at the Stand.
Nice.
It's in my, Instagram bio. I've tweeted about it. It's everywhere. So please, if you're in the tri-state area, come see it. I'd love to fill, that room with like 25 or 30 or whatever, however many people they'll allow me to have, and do a fun little New York comedy show.
Yeah, and that's, that goes along with the comedy obviously goes along with sports being opened up, and it felt like a normal game yesterday. And another benefit was there's no lines for the bathrooms, man.
Yeah.
And it was, enter one way, exit.
No lines for beer, like beer, hot dog, any of that stuff.
No, they I don't drink, but I'm such a cheapskate. I brought water. You can bring water, which is interesting. They didn't even check my cooler.
You brought a cooler?
Not a cooler, like a little thing where you can put like 6 waters in.
Okay.
Like a little bag, like I guess it's technically a cooler.
Cooler bag?
Yeah, like a cooler, but like you carry.
Yeah.
The guy didn't even open it up. They just want to make sure that there was no bombs, because I don't know, a dog sniffed it.
A dog? Okay.
I'm assuming that's a bomb dog. It's not a drug dog. I don't know.
I'm assuming.
Who knows? But yeah, and I guess you can also have stuff.
Can you imagine being a terrorist and being like, I'm going to blow up a Cincinnati Pittsburgh Pirates April Day game during a pandemic and maybe kill 14 people?
Yeah.
I've taken out the entire field level.
He's like,
Bane shows up. He's like, we're going to get all 14 of you.
Hello, Batman. I'm taking down Skyline Chili today.
Castellanos.
But yeah, it was real nice just to be at a game, and we did take it for granted, Joe. Like to a certain degree, all of us, we took a live event, whether it's sports, comedy, music. I think for a long time, and hopefully for the rest of our own lives, we don't take it for granted anymore. Just being there. And the truth is, I didn't want the game to end. I was like, I'm just enjoying just sitting in the sun, watching a little day baseball. I don't want this thing to end.
Well, I'm sorry it did end, Andy.
I mean, it ended in a W, but
yeah.
I'm sure you'll feel the same way when you start going to games. And I've set the goal of 10 games this year, 10 Cincinnati Reds games. And we've talked, hopefully we can go to a game when I am in town, because they are actually in Los Angeles for another day game. But yeah, look, do I get annoyed with a lot of baseball stuff? Sure. Do I think them moving the All-Star game to Denver, as they've done, accomplished probably nothing? Yeah, I think that. But at the end of the day,
I
just say it, Joe. At the end of the day, what are you going to say?
I don't know. What am I going to say?
Your face, come on. Baseball, Ray.
Oh, sorry. Baseball, Andy. Baseball. We've gotten a lot of requests for me to keep saying baseball, Andy, on the show. I just to give you a little brief thing from Dirty Slides, since our conversation on Monday, just doubling back on the All-Star game thing. I read a very interesting thing, and I will shout out now on the second podcast, the DirtBall, whose name I forget, who hooked us up with the Atlantic art subscription for the year. But there was an interesting piece about the All-Star game being moved on the Atlantic, and what they kind of said, and I found it very...
The Athletic.
Sorry, the Athletic. What did I say? The Atlantic?
Yeah.
The Athletic, not the Atlantic. Although, yeah, I don't even know what the Atlantic is, honestly. The Athletic is that Rob Manfred is a registered Republican, and that the reasoning behind the moving of the All-Star game may have been more follow the money than it was catering to woke people. They kind of presumed that the answer was fear of losing sponsors for the All-Star game over the Georgia decision, and fear of losing out on certain players who might boycott the game. And then also kind of nipping this in the bud as something to handle in April, as opposed to something that would last all the way through July in some fashion if nothing happened. So they were kind of pointing at like, oh, everybody's complaining about woke this, woke that, politics and sports. And it's like, really, the answer is he is the mouthpiece of a bunch of billionaires. And despite how those billionaires may feel about it on a case-by-case basis, that his decision was likely about making them more money.
I read that as well. It was a good piece. I mean, it is interesting though. He's also a member of Augusta,
right?
So like,
and that's kind of what it was saying is like,
it's pretty funny though. Like it. This is always my problem.
What it was saying was kind of like everything that, everything about this guy points to. This doesn't have anything to do with anything but money. That this isn't about like.
And say that it's so easy. It's so easy. It's so easy, dude. This is where I always
that
get
doesn't really
up.
accomplish the goal. Then
say it. Say, dude, I'm a registered Republican. I am a member.
Well, that's for certain. You certainly don't want to do that. You certainly don't want. Now you're making the commissioner's politics part of sports.
He can say that he's a member of a golf course that he's still going to continue to golf, which is located in Georgia. That's always my issue that I take is people set themselves up to be nitpicked when somebody can just say, dude, but you belong to Augusta.
But the point is, if he doesn't say anything, what the Athletic is saying is like, you can nitpick all you want, but if you look at what's probably actually going on here, this is all about saving Major League Baseball a headache and some money. And so,
I would argue they would not lose a single dollar. They're going to get advertisers.
Unless, but again, between now and July, if Mookie Betts says I'm not playing in the game, this is something that goes on April, May, June, July, the game itself, as opposed to now. You do it now, and a week from now, we won't be talking about it. A week from now, Ben Shapiro won't be talking about it. A week from now, Clay Travis won't be talking about it. They don't care. They'll move on to, LeBron's a Chinese spy again, and Colin Kaepernick should be hung outside the Capitol. They'll just move on to their other,
I mean, hold on. Like, I think people will be talking about it when the All-Star game comes,
but they won't be talking about it between now and then. Is the point?
I'm going to talk about it every single episode. I'm going to talk about it in my sleep. Talk about it. I talked about it for 9 innings yesterday. Look, again, I'm not going to agree with everything people do. I get that. Like, I can accept that. But I just think ultimately, even if guys didn't play, and I think the majority of baseball players, I would assume, don't care. Because it's, if you look at the ethnic breakdown of baseball, just based off that. But whatever, look, they made their decision, but I ultimately, again, don't think it makes that big of a difference. I think corporations, they kowtow. Is that the term?
Kowtow.
Kowtow. I always mess it up. They kowtow so quickly now. And that's where I have issues of, I think a lot of people are a bunch of pussies and they kowtow to a lot of people who weren't buying their products in the first place. Like the traditional Major League Baseball fan, I don't think cares about that.
But again, we're going in circles here. I think the point is,
you're saying the sponsors.
I'm saying he actually doesn't give a fuck about what the fans think at all.
I gotcha.
That the evidence from his political background, from the Augusta thing, from the whatever, is that he's worried about the sponsors of the game. He's worried about the distractions leading up to the game. He's worried about players boycotting the game. He doesn't give a fuck what you or I or any other fan thinks about the Georgia voting laws.
What about all press is good press? If that game's in Atlanta, more people are watching that game than they are in Colorado. I think that. Personally,
not now. Isn't all press good press? Like, we're talking about the All-Star game. It's April. We wouldn't be talking about the All-Star game if they didn't move it.
I think more people watch it if it's in Atlanta and there's controversy around it. But again, I don't have anything to back that up. It's just an assumption I'm making. Who knows? Regardless, it's been moved back to the initial point. Baseball's back, and I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying having a team that's actually winning as of now. But hey,
and you've shown your displeasure with Major League Baseball by going to the game yesterday and not wanting to leave.
But I also said, what did I say on Monday's episode? You probably don't remember. I said, I can be annoyed. I'm still going to go to games.
Right.
I'm not one of those people. I'm not dude. I've learned to accept. I'm really not a boycotter. Sorry. Everyone out there. Like, I'm not a boycotter. That's not my thing. I'm not grandstanding and saying, now, are there certain places I'm avoiding now? I do it quietly. Like, to be honest, I've kind of low key been trying to stay away from Home Depot.
Because,
well, one, we all know the service.
Yeah.
But also I would never be happy. They were so casual. And I know, of course, probably every Home Depot was with the mask thing out here, at least the local one by me, that I was like, there's a Lowe's down the street and everybody always wears masks. And again, that was just a small decision I made, but I didn't go on social media. It was whatever. And that was a decision I made, but I wasn't like, I am boycotting because every time I go in here, I see some redneck without a mask. Dude, it is what it is. But seriously, also, it's probably mainly because I think Home Depot is worse than Lowe's as far as helping you. The worst. Look, I did enjoy the game, and I'm not going to be boycotting. And I think a lot of those claims, though, when people say that, Joe, are kind of bullshit.
Yeah, I agree.
So here we are, and baseball's here. Are you going to? I was a little confused. I know you had an issue. Are you going to games next when you're in New York next week?
I am, and I will be attending the Thursday day game, Jackie Robinson Day, Mets, Phillies at Mets. Right now, looking like a Jacob deGrom third start of the year.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, I'll be there. I'll be there Thursday the 15th at Citi Field.
That's great. Well, Joe, I want to do some quick in-house stuff before we move on to discuss the NCAA championship.
Great.
First of all, I got one of the best gifts ever that I got to show. I posted it on social media, but DirtBall Emiliano sent me an authentic OJ Simpson Buffalo Bills jersey.
It's amazing.
I mean, look at this thing.
I love it. And you're such an OJ guy. You're basically a fan of all of OJ's work, his acting work, his running back work, his murder work. His softcore porn work after his armed robbery work. You are an OJ stan from top to bottom. You've never let anybody talk you off of the OJ, off of Team OJ.
Yeah, I'm a piece of shit. I am. I know it. I am a piece of shit for being fascinated.
You're like 2,000 yards. Like, how many running backs have a 2,000-yard season on their resume and two bodies on their resume?
The juice.
Also, allegedly.
Remind me of the softcore porn thing that OJ did.
Didn't he, like, after he got out of jail in Nevada, he was like in Florida and like he was hanging around with like people promoting like a sex video or something like that.
You're right.
I don't remember the specifics of it, but somebody was using that OJ name and likeness for, something. I forget.
Yeah, I forgot. That's a great part of his resume. I can't believe he hasn't done a podcast yet.
Right.
I was predicting he was going to enter the podcast game, but this will be framed.
If I did it now on iTunes, Spotify, we're just going to talk about what would happen if I had done it.
The jersey will be framed, and it will definitely cause a little controversy. If it goes up on the wall of my parents' house, that could create some issues with certain members of my family. I can already see. They're going to take hey, he's a murderer. You should not promote this.
Seems like a fair stance.
And it totally is. I'll say I agree. He is a murderer.
Allegedly.
And also, in huge dirtball news, we have a big birthday shout out, Joe.
Okay. Big birthday shout out.
All the way to Europe. I believe they're in Europe. Shout out to Dirtball Allen. His girlfriend reached out about a month ago, his girlfriend Mackenzie, and said they are both dirtballs. She admitted, you could see she was struggling a little. She admitted that she is also a dirtball.
She's a dirtbella. She's a dirtball.
And it's his birthday, and he is a hockey player. That's why he's over there. He's been over there for a few years. And even when they've been apart at times, they have one common bond, the Dirty Sports Podcast.
I love it. Well, happy birthday, Alan. Hope the hockey's going well. Hope you're scoring a lot of goals or saving a lot of goals if you're a goalie, or getting a lot of check some people, get some assists. I don't know. Some hockey stuff. Play some good defense.
Yeah. And hopefully you're scoring tonight on your birthday, if you know what I mean. Alan.
Allegedly.
So
what a great birthday. By the way, could you ask for a more fitting Dirty Sports happy birthday? Speaking of OJ murdering people, we got a birthday shout out.
I know. I don't know what, I should have done the birthday shout out first, then discuss the OJ jersey. Yeah. But hey, in vintage Andy Ruther form, I completely botched it. Well, let's discuss another debacle. Oh, forgot. No, let's do the basketball game. I was going to go to the Jets and Sam Darnold, but Baylor, bro. Putting on a clinic.
Yeah, a great performance from Baylor. Number 2 team in the country. A lot of people saying they also, potentially had a chance for an undefeated season had they not had a layoff in the middle. I mean, they dominate that game from the beginning. Defensively, they were lights out. It got close for a minute, and when it got close for a minute, they put the clamps back on. A great shooting team, very deep and athletic in the backcourt, play great defense. It really wasn't a game, and is that as close as Gonzaga gets to a championship?
Well, they're already the favorites for next year.
Gonzaga.
They are. I looked. The early favorites. So Vegas on earlier, the early odds. I think they return a bunch of guys. But it is interesting. I don't know if you know, they were supposed to play each other during the regular season, which did not happen. Baylor was just locked and loaded. And I think it's such a cool story. If people who don't know, I mean, their program was in such turmoil before Drew got there. A guy had killed one of his teammates. I mean, think about that. A guy had murdered one of his teammates. That's where the state of Baylor basketball was when he joined the team in 2003. And there was a whole cover-up over it.
2003?
Yeah, I think.
Wow.
So this was a long process. And I think this is also an argument to stop firing your coach right away.
Yeah.
If you look at their records, and I did, it's a gradual, slowly getting better. So you know what I'm saying? And we're talking 18 years later, and now they're consistently in the top 10. I don't know, the last 5-6 years. Sometimes it takes a minute, especially if one of your players had just murdered somebody on his own team.
That'll set you back. I mean, look at the Bills, OJ. That's the early 90s, basically right in the middle of the Super Bowl run. No Super Bowl runs since OJ went back to back. It's the OJ episode.
I was just going to say, OJ getting a lot of love on this episode. This is definitely a throwback. But yeah, kudos to Drew and
congrats. And have we checked in on our boy Joe Trebek? Has anybody checked in? I know I did see a lot of talk in my mentions. I don't know why people thought, I give Joe Shaboring a lot of heat for a variety of reasons. But it's all in good fun. But the amount of people that were like sliding into my DMs and sliding into my mentions telling me that Shaboring was having a old-fashioned Dikembe Mutombo block party after the final game. Apparently he was throwing around blocks for people that were talking trash.
I got that as well. I got some block party DMs as well.
Yeah. And so apparently Shabelli blocking a lot of people. And I did not even check in on Joe. I'm not trying to kick a man while he's down. I didn't even check in on him, but I was wondering, did he do any ref blaming? That's his favorite thing in the world is, the refs are always against all his teams.
I'm currently looking at his Twitter feed to see if there's anything. No.
That's good. Our boys is grown up. He's grown up and he's grown up and he's grown up.
I don't see anything. And
I'm proud of him. Took an L like a man.
That was a tough one to take. Although there is an argument to be made, you'd rather just get your ass kicked and lose in a close game for your emotional state of mind.
For sure. If it was a close game, there would have been some ref blaming.
Yeah.
Now I know the talk was, and they did the deal before the final game. There was a lot of like few to North Carolina rumors, but then they go and hire my boy, Tar Heel alum, Nick fan favorite, Hubert Davis.
He's a Nick fan favorite, huh?
He's a Nick fan favorite from the big 4-point play, or 3-point foul in the series with the Bulls in '94. Scottie Pippen fouls him shooting a 3. So he has at least one famous Nick moment.
Well, he's got a lot of years as an assistant. Obviously, he went there, was a star there. This seems to be the move. This is relatively new, right, Joe? That these colleges are they're former players, which I don't have a problem with, especially a guy who's put in his time, who's played at the professional level. And I think it's a good hire.
It's tough. It's definitely a tough job to fill. Big shoes to fill there.
Yeah.
But good luck to him. We'll be rooting for him.
I mean, nothing but success, that program.
Yeah.
Even the dude who took over after Dean Smith for a couple of seasons led him to a Final Four. Have no clue what his name was. You know what I'm talking about, right?
I don't. Not a big college basketball guy. Certainly don't remember between Dean Smith and Roy Williams.
He was older, and that was the thing. He got the job because he'd been
an assistant for a while.
For like ever. And I don't feel like looking this up. I'm already
don't look it up. We've already talked more college basketball than we should.
Bill Guthridge.
Sure. Old Bill Guthridge.
He did 3 seasons. Oh, yeah. I forgot about the Matt Doherty era.
Oh, right.
From Notre Dame.
Yeah.
He was a debacle. Yeah. So good luck. If not, you can always hire
Guthridge. This land is your land.
That was him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Great game and tough way to lose for Gonzaga to have such a great season. But I think that happens a lot. You play in such a close game, such a hard-fought game.
Did I call that? I didn't give him any shot. I said, beating Bears back to back. It's gonna be tough to do.
Was that you or was that Bill Walton who said that?
I think that was, both of us. I was agreeing in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Bill was really adamant about that.
Yeah.
So where are we at in NBA season? We got like 30 games left, less than 30 games left, like 25 games left.
Mm-hmm.
The big question I have at this point is, does seeding really matter for the Lakers and for the Nets? Those are the two teams.
Those two teams specifically.
Because of injuries.
Right. I think seeding matters for everybody in some sense, but I understand your question. And I would say that, yes, it matters for both those teams, but it matters more for the Nets, I would say, than it does the Lakers. The Lakers were The Lakers won a championship last year in a bubble in front of no fans. Lakers fans don't really have a great history of, being game changing type of fans. I don't think LeBron James is the kind of I think LeBron James could play, a game in Toontown like he will in Space Jam, and it's gonna be the same as playing in Cleveland and Miami and whatever. Obviously, everybody wants to have a home crowd, but I don't think it's going to be as important as it is to a Nets team that is, coming on, trying to take over New York. It'll never happen, but trying to, truly be the first team that builds a fan base there. You've got Durant, who, at this point, it's safe to say Durant doesn't handle criticism very well. I think we can safely say that. Durant is pretty thin-skinned. And so the idea of your best player being somebody who probably wants, friendly confines of a home stadium. Then you've got Harden, who has his own playoff struggles, and Kyrie, who might not know what planet he's on. So I don't think it's as much of a factor for Kyrie. But I think that the Nets are going to need that home court advantage infinitely more than the Lakers. So I think the seeding does matter for those guys.
For me, it's not even about home court advantage. It's about, I just don't think seeding matters for LeBron. And I don't know if I'm giving him too much credit, but I just don't think it matters.
Well, I think LeBron at this point,
he's done it too many times.
Yeah. And the idea of we're going to lose, you got to play everybody. You got to play the best team at some point. I honestly, I think there's probably a strategy, not a strategy, but there's probably some sort of excitement that comes with LeBron potentially playing a team he has to beat before the conference finals. We've seen that before when he just absolutely destroyed a 1 seed Raptors in the second round, then goes on to beat, I believe it was the 2 seed Celtics after that. Like, we've seen him do this in his days around the league. So yeah, I agree. I don't think it matters for the Lakers really almost at all. I think the Lakers are doing a very similar thing to the Kobe Shaq years. Like, be healthy, doesn't matter. As opposed to the Nets, I think it will matter. And from a home court advantage standpoint, from a not playing the best team until you absolutely have to standpoint. So
the only thing the Lakers would want to avoid if I was the Lakers was the Clippers in the first round.
Sure. But LeBron as LeBron, like, I think the statistic is like LeBron's never been behind in a game in the first round or something like that. Like, his first round record's like bananas.
Yeah, I agree. I just don't think it matters. And I think that the East is just so competitive. Not that the West isn't, but they're both competitive, but I just think it's going to matter for Brooklyn because let's not forget, they don't have guys who have done it on their own. Like, KD joined the Warriors to win. Kyrie needed LeBron to come back to win.
If I told
James Harden's never been to I'm sorry, he did go to a finals, but that was early on in his career with Oklahoma City.
If I told you right now, I'd give you 2-1 odds. I'll give you double your money on if you wanted to bet on a Lakers Nets NBA Finals matchup. Would you take it, or do you think that there's a halfway decent chance that one of them do not make it this year?
Yeah, I think there's a halfway decent chance for sure. I'd still put my odds on it.
So if you were getting money, if you're getting extra money, if you're getting 2-1, you'd bet it. Yeah,
it all comes down to health, man.
Yeah.
Like for the Lakers. Sit those guys. I don't care if you're the 8 seed. Like let's say Utah finishes with the 1 seed. If you have a healthy Lakers team as an 8 seed,
it doesn't. Like, what does it matter if you're going to have to play the Jazz anyway?
We're talking 7 games. I think people, for some reason, forget that. I was thinking about that last night when the Jazz game was on. I was hanging out with Cutter, and I was like, I was like, you think this Jazz team could beat the? He didn't say they could, but I was just kind of saying it out loud. I was like, there's no way this Jazz team could beat the Lakers 4 out of 7 games. There's just no way. Health is huge.
Right.
A healthy LeBron, a healthy AD. There's no way.
Schneider, I mean, there's a way, but I agree, it's not likely if the Lakers are completely healthy.
Quinn Snyder on the sideline, all coked out of his mind. He definitely was a cokehead. Like, I know it's a dirty sports thing that we're running with, but like, does he not look like such a cokehead?
Yeah, absolutely. But isn't that like a rumor as well? Isn't that like I believe that the rumor is that's what happened to him at Mizzou, is he was like doing blow with sorority girls.
Was that us or was that out there?
No, that's out there. That's out there. I think that's out there that we brought to people, but that's out there. That's a rumor. Because he was great at Mizzou and then was suddenly like, man, we know, kind of disappeared and then went to the NBA.
I literally put in Quinn Snyder cocaine and then Google Images Google Images shows all these images of the sideline of like
him him looking coked out on the sidelines,
like licking his like fingers, and then there's a meme that says blow, too much of a good thing isn't always good, and it's a picture of you're right, it's definitely out there.
Love it.
Is he getting coke in Salt Lake?
Yeah, probably.
Doesn't seem like a very cocaine friendly town. It's 2-3 beer.
Yeah.
I don't see it.
I mean, I think he's probably got a guy,
Yeah.
He's probably buying it from the Pizza Hut that poisoned Michael Jordan. They said I couldn't get cocaine in Salt Lake City, and I took that personally.
What a we're a year removed from that, Joe. What a fucking lie. What a lie.
What
I mean, it's just
the
lie.
Poison pizza?
I'm not buying it at all.
Oh my God.
The pizza guy poisoned Michael Jordan.
I mean, it was a part of the documentary was a fucking interview with the pizza guy.
It's a criminal offense, man.
Yeah.
Poisoning someone's food.
Yeah. What is this? The fucking Knights of the Round Table? Like, get
out of here. This is like an episode of Game of Thrones. I mean, dude, the things that we just, again, and like a year later, it's even funnier. I might have entertained it last year because I was caught up in the hoopla, but now I'm thinking this is absurd.
Yeah.
Guy put arsenic on his pepperoni. Like, what are we talking about here? This is absurd. DirtBalls, we will be on the Stakes app tonight for the Lakers Heat game. So if you have not downloaded the Stakes app, it's a great app where you can, place real-time wagers using coins on their app tonight for the 7:30 Lakers Heat game, which is on national TV. So go ahead and hop on tonight. There is a Dirty Sports group. So that's important. I know sometimes you guys will go in the common group where everybody's not. There's a Dirty Sports group. So watch the game tonight on TNT. We'll be doing the first half of Lakers Heat. Join the Dirty Sports groups. I will be curating the questions. So we'll try to make them fun.
It was super fun last time when we did it for that Syracuse game. I learned my lesson. I was the leader in the clubhouse the entire time. I had the most coins, and then a reckless, poorly planned Jeopardy wager at the end. I went too small. Somebody bet all their coins on the last question and leapfrogged me. Very poor Jeopardy planning by me. I won't be making that mistake again tonight. But guys, get in there, sign up for the Stakes app right now. And the other cool thing, I kind of like that they do this. At first I was like, why not the whole game? But I kind of like that they do these halves. You're in, you're out. You win as many coins as you can in, an hour, and it's kind of fun. And speaking of Jeopardy wagers, Andy, have you been watching Aaron Rodgers on Jeopardy at all?
So I haven't. I'm glad you brought that up though, because I need to. That's a good reminder for
First of all, he's really good.
I can see that.
Second of all, apparently he wants the job.
I've heard.
he even talked about like their filming schedule. And that like he's like they film 46 days a year or something like that. I don't know where he gets that number. Oh, it might be that they film 46 days a year because they do multiple episodes in a day. So he's saying, forget after retiring. He's like, I could be the Jeopardy host now. And he's really good. I like him. He's already made some funny jokes. Like I'm sure you saw the thing with the guy, the Final Jeopardy thing, talking about the field goal. He was on his toes for that one. He did a joke about opening one of the shows about knowing what it's like to replace a legend. So it was great. And then I don't know if you saw the video clip of I did. I mean, he handled himself really well in one of the most awkward Jeopardy moments I've ever seen.
I didn't think that was even that awkward.
It was pretty, everybody, like in the moment, everybody was pretty awkward. Even the contestant who had to like go back to the board after, was like, yeah. I mean, obviously no one really understood, like, yeah, Jeopardy's probably not bringing up human rights atrocities. But they all guessed basically a human rights atrocity. He's like, the answer was the Iran,
hostages. So let me ask this, because I've never been a Jeopardy guy. And this is going to sound so stupid because I don't know, but I'm going to be honest. Like, when does it air?
That's incredible. That's just.
I have no. Okay. Full disclosure, DirtBall's going to lose their mind. I have no clue when it airs. I have no clue what channel it's on.
Well, it is a syndicated show, so it's on different channels and it's on at different times.
But is it on like an NBC or ABC? Like, is it on one major network?
No.
Okay.
But typically it's on one of those. When I was in New York, it was on our ABC affiliate. I believe in LA, it's also on our ABC affiliate.
But it's early, like 4:00, right?
No, it's on. It typically, again, it's syndicated, so it can air different times depending on where you are. And there's actually a fun fact about places. Some places air it before Wheel of Fortune. Some places air it after. And there was a scientific thing back in the day about how they figured out people prefer to watch it before Wheel of Fortune. They stick around for Wheel of Fortune to feel smarter after they feel dumb watching Jeopardy, as opposed to if they watch Wheel of Fortune and feel smart and then Jeopardy comes on, they feel dumb, they turn it off. So typically it airs at 7-ish p.m. Prior to, like, it's part of a block with Wheel of Fortune, a lot of places that leads into prime time.
Okay, gotcha.
That's what time it is here. That's what time it was when I was in New York. When I was at Lehigh and we were in between there, it aired twice. It aired like at 6:30 and then at 7, because on two different affiliates. So, but typically it's like right before prime time on one of your major networks. Oftentimes it's ABC.
And how many episodes is he going to do?
He's doing 2 weeks of shows. So he's doing 10 episodes.
Okay. Well, regardless, he's setting himself up for a career, maybe like a Michael Strahan, because he's got the charm, he's got the personality. We've seen it through years in commercials.
He's great. I mean, these are tough, Jeopardy's a tough show, and you're talking about a lot of different things, and he's pronouncing everything right. He's doing it like, he seems to know what he's talking about. He's obviously a smart guy. I like it. I certainly think it's more interesting than Ken Jennings and, whoever.
Oh, that's a tough role to fill, especially after Alex Trebek was the GOAT for so many years.
The only complaint I have so far is Aaron Rodgers, like myself, like Alex Trebek, known to rock a mustache, and then he goes with like the light beard while he's doing Jeopardy. It's like, I'm not saying you should do like some Alex Trebek cosplay, but you've been known to rock a mustache in your day, my dude. Like, may as well do it on Jeopardy. As a tip of the hat to the old King of Canada.
Is there any timetable for replacing Trebek?
I'm sure that there is not. I'm sure that this is like,
they're just doing some rotating.
This is like royalty. They don't want to make the wrong decision.
Yeah.
They got to find their Drew Carey.
I was going to say, what did Price is Right do with Drew Carey? How
They
how
did
many?
they did the same thing. They did a rotating thing, and then they settled on Carrie. And it's amazing that these game shows now, it's like Trebek made Jeopardy, Jeopardy made Trebek, Barker made Price is Right, Price is Right, Barker. Like now you get these guys who are stepping into these legendary roles that are already somebody. Drew Carey's fine, but it's like, what an opportunity to also like showcase somebody. But I like Aaron Rodgers at Jeopardy. I'm into it.
You could host any game show. What would you do?
If I could host any game show.
Yeah.
I mean, The Price is Right is a pretty fun game show to host.
That's a fun one.
I
know mine.
How about the no whammies one?
The what?
Press Your Luck. You remember Press Your Luck?
I don't
know.
No
whammies, no whammies, no whammies, no whammies. Stop. Also Double Dare.
Double Dare. What, Mark Summer hosted that?
Yeah.
That'd
Which was
fun.
so funny because he was OCD and the whole thing's about like slime and toe jam and whatever.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And I would love to host Family Feud. And I know.
Oh, Family Feud. That's a good one.
Steve Harvey does a great job, and I think he's amazing. And they've had some great hosts. But that would be
the Steve Harvey thing. What's so funny about the Steve Harvey hosting Family Feud now is like they had a couple of those moments where people answered things ridiculously and they went viral. And now they write these questions simply to be like, simply for those moments. I think it's like a little bit hacky now. But, like now Steve Harvey is a caricature of Steve Harvey doing Family Feud.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. What is something, we asked 100 people, what is something in your husband's pants that is hard? And then they're like, his penis. He's like, now come on. His penis. I mean, and he just looks around. It's like, the number one answer, his zipper. And you're like, bro, what the fuck is this? Like,
so my disabled uncle who's in a nursing facility, and he's in his late 70s, he loves Family Feud. He loves Steve Harvey. And he's mentally disabled as well. And I told him that I was on Steve Harvey's. This was recently. I was visiting with my brother, and I was like, I was on Steve Harvey's talk show. And when I showed him the video, his mind was like, he's like, you met Steve Harvey? I was like, yeah, it was, his show, which of course got canceled 2 months after I was on it.
The Ruther curse. That's how good this Reds lineup is. The Ruther. It's the only thing that the Ruther curse can't undo.
Is there any validity that I have moved back and that's like, hey, Ruther's back? Like,
you've reversed the curse with the move to the Midwest?
Like I've moved back where I'm from for the Reds. Bengals are going to go 16-0. I mean, the Bengals just announced a Ring of Honor today.
Yeah, we talked about that. I like it.
So,
who's the first guy that goes into the Ring of Honor?
They already announced it.
Is it Munoz?
It's Munoz and Paul Brown.
Okay.
Dude, the disparity between those stadiums. You go down to the Red Stadium and they just have statues. And last year they added the thing for the 1869 team, which is awesome. I was checking it out yesterday. They added that. Obviously, COVID hit, so nobody could experience it. They've added so much. You go to the Bengal Stadium and it's just
what team were they honoring?
The first team, the 1869 team.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
The 69 team.
Nice. Oh yeah. That's 69 team. Nice.
100 years later, amazing Mets.
I'll tell you what, though, man. I know I've said it before on this show. I'll say it again. Not many people 69 it. I'm just gonna say it.
Oh, okay. Steve Harvey's like, come on, man. Come on.
What's an activity you like to do with your wife that most people might find peculiar?
Steve Harvey's Family Feud these days. We got 5 answers on the board. We're looking for a a number between 65 and 71. We're looking for numbers between 65 and 71. We have 5 answers on the board. 4 answers are gone. Somebody finally is like, how about 69? Steve's like, come on. Come on. What are you doing out here? Come on. But Steve, the other 4 answers on the boards are 66, 67, 68, 70. He's like, come on.
Steve's being overtaken by his daughter. She's getting all the news now.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't know. What's his daughter's deal?
Well, she's dating Michael B. Jordan. She's dated so many different
Okay.
famous people. And she's really attractive, and she's young, and it's one of those. You don't know about this? Lori?
No.
Lori
Harvey? No.
Yeah, man.
You know what? It's funny because I think I came across her, like somebody talking about her and her profile. I didn't even realize that was the thing, that she was Steve Harvey's daughter.
Yeah.
I love Michael B. Jordan. Have you thought about naming your son OJ B. Simpson?
That's funny. OJ B. Simpson. It's tough to name your kid OJ now. Like who's there's a couple. We had OJ Mayo. We got OJ Howard.
Yeah.
But like, that's a risky one. I want to know the last people to name their kid OJ and also Adolf.
Yeah, Adolf. That's a tough one.
Has there ever been a name ruined more? Like, there's nothing that compares to that, right?
No. Hitler ruined Adolf and the mustache.
I mean, he ruined 2 things.
Yeah.
And the crazy part is
he ruined the hard side part for a lot of people too. Although, current American Nazis have embraced that. They're like, no, we'll still go with the hard side part.
The crazy thing about Michael Jordan is Michael Jordan has such arrogance. Remember, he tried to bring back the mustache?
Yeah.
And Charles Barkley called him out on it?
Yeah. He was in a Hanes commercial with the Hitler stash.
Like, no one said anything. No one from Hanes was like, I don't know if we should be airing this one.
The makeup girl's like, does he have a Hitler stash?
Unbelievable. So what do you make of this Sam Darnold trade, Joe?
I like it.
He did not get much in return.
I really like it for the Panthers. I'm not like a Sam Darnold stan by any means, but they didn't give up a lot. He's reunited with Robbie Anderson. They have weapons. They have their offensive coordinator, who's the guy, that came in from LSU, who was like Burrow's like passing coordinator or whatever. So their offense was decent at times last year. I'm not a Teddy Bridgewater guy, so I like it. And I like a change. You know what? The thing about Sam Darnold too is like, he was in LA, but like, dude, we all know, like, no one gives, like, sports out here. It's like the amount of people that talk about, Notre Dame football in New Jersey is larger than the number of people who talk about USC football in Los Angeles. Like, it's not that big a deal. No one cares. There's so much going on. He goes to New York. I mean, you would think big city to big city, but like the pressure of playing for the Jets versus the pressure that he faced in college is like unbelievable. He gets a change of scenery. He gets a good up and coming coaching staff. He gets decent weapons. He's got McCaffrey to, be a kind of a security blanket. And he's got, a pretty low key fan base when it comes to like all the press and stuff that's involved. I like it. I actually like, is it making me buy Sam Darnold stock? Yeah, a little bit. Am I like on the Sam Darnold train at this point? No, but I like this a lot more than I like a lot of quarterback moves when guys are like, oh, let's free, Kirk Cousins from the Redskins. I'm like, good fucking luck with that.
Well, it's definitely low risk, high reward, considering they gave up a 6th round pick this year and a 2nd and 4th next year. But I'm not, dude, here's the thing. I'm not sold on him at all. I wasn't sold on him going into the NFL. He turned the ball over so much at USC.
Yeah.
So much. If you turn the ball over in college, you're going to change that in the pros, and he hasn't.
Well, that's what people were saying about Josh Allen, which was there's not a good precedent for guys being more accurate in the pros than they were in college, but he's proven that wrong. I think the thing is you have to find a coaching staff and a system that is like, here's why we can make what you are work here. And I mean, obviously the Panthers looked at Darnold and was like, we think we can make him work. There's no doubt about it that he has talent, that he has the ability to make, just about every throw. It really does come down to them to him not turning the ball over. Now, there's this whole conversation that has happened around Tannehill and Derrick Henry, and Derrick Henry has been improved by Tannehill, and Tannehill, has played so much better now that he's on the Titans because he has a running game. And it's like everybody wants to do this analytics thing and say like, it's Tannehill that made Henry better. No, it's Henry that made Tannehill better, blah, blah, blah. It's like, it's very clear that they're both better because he's been a competent, he's been a competent game manager, quarterback, and Derrick Henry's been a beast. It's a very similar situation that you're putting yourself in with Christian McCaffrey. I mean, you have a guy who can carry the load, literally and figuratively, and they have weapons. Low risk, high reward. I really like that move by the Panthers. And if it doesn't work, what did it cost them? They can go get a quarterback. What was their other option? They're not drafting high enough to be in the mix for a quarterback this year. You don't really want to rebuild that way. You get a guy who has NFL experience, but has not proven anything. So you don't have to pay him. I really like it. Sam Darnold's, I think, 23 or 24. He's young still.
Yeah, it's definitely low risk, high reward. He's 23. He'll be 24 in June. Yeah, I didn't realize he's that young. I just don't know. I mean, I don't know. I'm not too optimistic he can turn around. Maybe he can. Hopefully he can for his sake. It sounds like the Jets obviously know who they want to take at quarterback now.
Which it's got to be Wilson, but who knows with the Jets. All I know is they're going to pick the wrong guy.
Oh, 100%.
Whoever that guy is, he will be wrong. Like, he'll be right if he goes to the Niners, but he'll be wrong if he goes to the Jets.
Yeah. No, for sure.
It's the curse of Fitzmagic.
What's that? How long was that bet that you have with Kyle Aronofsky?
I think it was 10 years, but it's funny that they're what'd they pick Darnold? 3, 4, whatever it is. Like the first few years of that bet were the Sam Darnold. He's already gone. We were talking about you're starting from scratch again.
Yeah, he was 3rd. Yeah, it's a hard reset already. Well, in some awful NFL news, former player Phillip Adams killed 4 people and then himself in South Carolina. And this is just, I bring this up because how many times are we going to see this just time and time again with former players? He killed a doctor and his wife. And what's so awful about this whole thing, he also killed the 2 grandchildren who were 9 and 5. Then he kills himself. He had concussions. There are times where CTE is a cop-out. CTE is a real thing. And I'm not saying CTE should be to blame for killing 4 people, including children. But at what point, it's the same argument we have with the gun issue, right, in this country. It's all like, at what point we got to do something to take care of these guys. There is enough. The gun issue is more complicated. You're talking about, I don't know, 350 million guns. This issue is former players.
This is just a fucking This is this is most comparable to, veterans and coming back and having PTSD. And for so long, the United States government, first of all, acting like PTSD wasn't a thing. Now barely acting like it's a thing. Not being able to give these guys the help they need. The NFL makes so much goddamned money. Contracts aren't guaranteed. If you don't play X amount of years in the league, you don't get a pension, you don't get whatever. You're so, everybody goes, and keep your politics out of sports. They say, you treat us like slaves. It's like, you fucking treat them like slaves. We're talking about a very small percentage of the guys that are set for life by playing in the NFL. The guys you don't know, the guys whose names you don't know, and also the most dangerous, parts of the NFL are the ones played by the most expendable guys, the special teams, the gunners, all that stuff. You could get, more concussions as a gunner for 2 seasons in the NFL than you would if you're Tom Brady for 25 years at quarterback. And you never heard that guy's name. He barely makes a team. He's got to make those hits just to try to make the team to get a contract that'll pay for anything. And then if they don't last, the NFL's like, fuck you, goodbye forever. Also, simultaneously, Roger Goodell makes $70 million a year or whatever the fucking, that might be lowballing. Like, it's ridiculous to not have part of these big TV deals and the big contracts and the big everything be like, this money gets set aside for post-career care across the board.
Yeah, I agree. There's such a select few who play in the National Football League. So there's not that many people, but there's billions of dollars. You can set aside money for physical and mental health services. Now, obviously, it would be on the players to use those and take advantage of that, but you have to do, like, this is continuing to be a real problem. Now, Phillip Adams was not a name player.
Right.
But Junior Seau was. We
Right.
have name players, Hall of Famers who have done this to themselves and have done this to others. You're a dead. This is something that is, you are putting someone in harm's way to other people, to civilians, non-NFL people. Like, you have to take a hard look at this and just, if you put this money in some sort of fund, it's also going to matriculate more money to put it in some IRA or something that's going to get.
The other thing is the NFL could own its own hospital. The NFL could have a small hospital in Canton, Ohio. It's in the middle of the country. It's right by the Hall of Fame. Like, you need, you need a CAT scan. You need an MRI. You need whatever. Come to the NFL Health Center. There's one building in the central part of the country. All you got to do is get yourself there.
Like, if you're an owner and you see this story, and again, we're talking a whole family murdered, and then the guy takes his own life. If this doesn't move you to want to take action at all, when you do have the resources and the financial funds, you're just a cold person. If this doesn't want to move you to help out, to at least start something or to get the initiative going, how many times are we going to see this? Again, it's not as complicated of an entire country. How many former NFL players are living right now? A few thousand? Just do something. Because here we are time and time again. It's unbelievable. Just take care of your former players. It's such a simple concept.
But this is what the NFL does. They do everything they can to lower player empowerment. They don't want those guys to have power. They don't want to take care of those guys. Nothing's bigger than the brand. If you want power, go to the NBA. You want to have a voice, go play this, go play that. Not here, not in the NFL. They're open about it. They're obvious about it. It's, It's part of the deal. It's part of what you sign up for.
I mean, this isn't even about power. This is about
where does it end, though? And you know what I mean? That's what they'll say.
This is
next,
just such.
Next, do I have to pay for their food after their career is over?
No, I mean, this is just a simple. Yeah, I mean, it's true.
This is socialism. Now I'm just giving everybody money.
It's such a basic
human right, healthcare,
to take care of someone who helped you make that money. Like, there's the give and take there. There's the system. They helped contribute to make you money. They also made money. And now you're just going to take care of them in the long run. So don't be assholes. We do have an update on the Tiger Woods car crash as of yesterday. He was apparently going between 84 and 87. Double the speed limit. More than double the speed limit when he crashed.
You've been on that road. You know where that is.
I mean, he's flying. That's
can you
curvy, imagine? Yeah.
It's also a curvy, like, hilly, mountainy, not quite a mountain, but it's coming out of the PV mountain area.
Why is he going that? Dude, I have a lot of questions.
The rumor is that he also left Terranea, which is where he was staying, like, with attitude. So he was already, like, pissed off or something when he was leaving there.
But, like, that's you and I know the area. I mean, to drive that fast.
I drive fast, but to drive 80 there is insane.
You're calling for a death sentence.
Yeah. And it's also like, what are you in a rush for, bro? If you're going to some golf event, like, I know he was going to, like, Rolling Hills Country Club or whatever, and they had the couple days before, he had golf with David Spade, he had golf with D Wade, he had golf whatever. So he's doing these, like, celebrity shoots kind of things. It's like, they're gonna wait for you, bro. Take your fucking sweet ass time. But here's the thing about the Tiger Woods. At first they said, we have information, but we can't release it. We have an explanation for the crash, but we can't release it for privacy issues. And then it's like, if we talk to Tiger Woods' team or something like that, and they give us the okay, and then they come out with, like, he was speeding. Is that what you were hiding? It seems like there's more to the story here.
I agree.
And maybe they gave him the go ahead to talk about his speed, but not the other aspects of it.
Well, they're not doing a blood test.
Was he having an argument on the phone at the same time? Was he under, was he heavily medicated as he really seemed to be?
Well, they claim they found no drugs or pills, but they also refused a blood test.
Right.
Something's missing.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Totally.
And driving like that. See, I'm not a fast driver. In fact, I have been made fun of by some of the children in my family for how I drive, and that's fine. Like, I'm not a speedster. I don't know, is that the term? Speedster? Sure. I don't know. I'm just that's not me. Like me going fast is going like 85 and a 65. Like, that's me going fast.
I want to see some real speed, bitch.
I just don't speed. And also, I'm not in California anymore. And I already know you don't get pulled over because you can't in California because there's too much traffic. Like, here, highway patrol is everywhere. Yeah. And I still have this ego about
how many speeding tickets do you have in your life?
None. And I still have an ego with that.
None.
That's
crazy.
So I want to continue this streak. So even when I'm in a hurry.
You've never been pulled over for speeding?
No.
Wow.
I've
been pulled over for speeding multiple times on the same trip.
The only, like, ticket as far as that, and it was questionable. A motorcycle cop in Las Vegas gave me running a red light, but it was one of those yellow, like, that's the only kind of traffic violation I've gotten, which I contested and I won. Was like, dude, it was yellow, so yeah, no speeding, no. Now, have I run over a fire hydrant and left the scene of the crime? Yes, right, I've done that. I mean, I've done some extreme things, but no speeding tickets, which I'm very proud of. So, yeah, most people, when they hear that, they're like, what? None? Tiger. I just.
And then he didn't break. Like the idea that he didn't break, like that's the suspicious detail. If you're going 80 and then you went at it, like why would you not break? Were
Was
you
he trying to kill himself? Was he trying to kill himself?
Right. That's the question.
I mean,
trying
I'm being
to kill himself?
serious.
Did you pass out? Were you not looking at the road? Those are basically your three options. You were either like distracted driving and drove off the road. You fell asleep or passed out pill wise or whatever, or you were trying to kill yourself. Bad place to try to kill yourself if he literally just came from like the cliffs of PV. Way easier places to kill himself than Hawthorne Boulevard. Should have just driven right off the side of the cliff into the ocean.
Yeah.
Thelma and Louise style.
Well, something's not adding up here. And there's definitely something else. If he's driving erratically like that, like you said, something's going on psychologically or emotionally. I see in YouTube comment about I should be Tiger's personal driver since I've been. Dude, can you imagine me and Tiger driving? Oh, dude, we would crush the Perkins waitress scene together. I'd be like, yo, Tiger, we're hitting IHOP today, man. I saw a new hostess is working there. It's pretty messed up, though. I just don't know why you drive like that in an area that's has sharp turns. If you look at the trajectory and you can see it, have you seen drawings of the crash? He is so lucky to be alive. I don't know if you and I understand the terrain in the area. I don't think people realize how lucky Tiger is to be alive. That really does almost push that theory of like, was he trying to kill himself?
Right.
I don't think it's that crazy to think that. It's nuts. Absolutely nuts. And I'll be curious how the recovery process goes for him.
I said on the Masters that not to like, shit on Tiger Woods or like kick a man while he's down or anything like that. But I did say on the Masters podcast with Tug that, it makes me more excited to watch the Masters, that it's not just Tiger all the time. He's not even there. Obviously he'll be mentioned as he's mentioned in every golf tournament ever. But like, I'm excited to watch it because it's not, I'll be watching the guys in these next couple of days who are in the hunt for the championship, and they won't be like, okay, here's Dustin Johnson for a birdie for the lead. We now go to Tiger Woods, who's 12 strokes back, but is Tiger Woods. So let's see what he's doing on 14.
Yeah, I got you. That makes sense.
So I'm excited for it.
Now, when you watch
Tiger's like, this is why I tried to kill myself.
Yeah. So you'll be watching.
For sure. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Tug and I talked about a lot of we have some money sprinkled around.
Okay.
We made some gambling predictions. We made some gambling. We talked a lot of the guys we like, the guys, we're rooting for. So that's what, Tug talked me into doing an episode because he said, I like that you've been gambling on golf. I'm like, yeah, if I gamble on golf, then I have interest and I watch. It's like, as opposed to watching and then gambling on something you're already watching, I'm gambling just to watch, which I also did with the college basketball tournament this year. I was like, put a little money on a couple games, and now you care. Now you're dying with UCLA.
Yeah. Well, you should invite Tug over, and you guys should watch the Masters, and you should crack open some cold Miller Lights while you enjoy a tradition unlike no other, which is you drinking Miller Lights while watching sports. That is a tradition.
That is truly a tradition unlike any other. Joe Praino and Miller Lite on the couch with some sports on TV. They say there's some history and some tradition with that golf tournament. There's some history and tradition with every couch I've ever owned. Me, a cold Miller Lite, some sports on television, some, we have baseball, we have golf, we've got, the NBA this weekend. We got all kinds of good stuff.
When are you going to come out here I got a great little patio set up now. Have a few cold Miller Lights as we catch
Have a
up.
couple cold Miller Lights in the Midwest spring heat. I like it.
Right?
I'm all about it. I'm making a Midwest run over the summer, over the late spring, early summer. So maybe I'll have to be either be shoehorned into that or just make a direct trip. I'll have to look at when my Metsies are coming to the Great American Ballpark.
Yeah. Check it out, man. Come out here, guys. Miller Lite has been a great light beer with great taste, Joe, since 1975. What an easy choice. What an easy choice for anybody listening to the show if you want to gather with friends. So next time you're getting beer with friends, make it Miller time. Luckily, you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere they sell beer, or go to MillerLite.com/dirty sports to find delivery options near you. It's Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces. All right,
July 19th, 20th. That's when the Mets are in Cincinnati.
July 19th.
And then a 12:35 July 21st. Oh, that's a day game. Got it. So it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, third week of July, Mets at Reds. Is that when I make my return to the Great American Ballpark?
I like those day games.
I love it.
I went to a Mets Reds day game.
What's the next closest ballpark to Cincinnati? Cleveland?
Yeah. It would be Cleveland.
Like it.
Which is still 4.5 hours. I mean, it's not that close. It's not that bad, but you haven't been to Cleveland, have you?
I have not.
Beautiful park.
That's why I ask, Andy.
Yeah. I think I'm going to check out the AAA affiliate, the Louisville River Bats.
Ooh.
I think I'm going to go to a game there too.
How far are you from Louisville?
90 minutes.
Okay.
And, Louisville's a fun city. The bars are open until 4 in Louisville. Obviously you have Louisville Slugger. That's a whole day trip that people like to do. You have, obviously, Churchill Downs. Louisville's a fun city. Like, you can get turned in Louisville. Like,
Rick Pitino is well aware.
I mean, we've talked about when you keep a whole city's bars open till 4, you're in a city in an area known for whiskey. Bad things are going to happen. And by bad things, I mean awesome. Okay, we have some great calls from the DirtBalls. The hotline is always 310-359-8365. We'll start off with a little paid call. Paid call from Reed, who likes to give us these lovely donations. So thank you, Reed, for that.
Hey, Dirty Sports. It's the #1 YOLO County Dirtball, Reed, calling in. So I've been thinking about this Deshaun Watson thing, and last time I checked, there is now 22 charges against him, or claims, or whatever they're called legally. And I put a lot of thought into this, and I think the reason, because you guys discussed this, that someone as famous and wealthy and all that isn't just buying a hooker or just, groupies off of Twitter or whatever, why he's not doing that is because of it's a power trip. This guy, Deshaun Watson, and athletes who do this sort of stuff, I'm talking mostly the sexual type stuff, not like the get a drive or stuff with Tiger Woods. I'm talking more on like the sexual conquest type deal. It's like, because Deshaun Watson in his head is like, because I'm Deshaun Watson, I can get this random ass amateur masseuse to finger my butthole instead of having to pay. I don't know if that's making any sense, but basically he wants to be able to, it's basically a flex to be able to do all this random shit, and that's why I do it. And I'm thinking about it now. That's probably why the Suns players all got a group blowjob from that one chick, all seven of them or whatever. Sort of just like wow, we were able to get this random chick to suck seven of us off instead of a hooker. I don't know. Just a thought. Also loved the whole political discussion about buildings. That was really cool. Anyway, that's it. Wonder on your thoughts. Stay dirty, boys. And stay safe out there.
But what about the nut?
Nut.
I look, I think he's got a good point.
I mean, I think he's absolutely correct, but you know, it's one of those things where you have to look at like the mindset of it. Like what you think is a flex might not be a flex. You know what I mean? You know, what's a flex is like putting on your Instagram story, like, I'm Deshaun Watson and I'm trying to get laid today, and seeing who replies. You know what I mean? You know, it's a flex. Getting a beach by yourself. Not with 7 other dudes around. Like, you know, to me, it's like, hey, I'm sharing this girl with 7 people. To me, the opposite of a flex. But I get that everybody's has a different approach. I think Reed is absolutely correct. That's where his mind is at. But also, like, you got to take it one step further. You got to take it one, like, how do you get the flex, but also not have to worry about what could go wrong? Like, you know, wasn't, you know, the dude from Barstool, like, didn't a video come out of him, like, with a girl on a leash or something like that? Like,
I didn't see that.
I didn't see it either, but apparently, like, you know, his thing is like, I didn't do anything wrong. It's just a girl on a leash. Like, that's a flex.
When did that come out?
I think yesterday. I don't know. I didn't see it, but our boy Justin Wood was telling me about it this morning.
Look, I think that there is a lot. We have been discussing this for how many weeks now? It just keeps getting worse for him. And, you know, I said I was going to wait, and I think I have.
Are you done waiting?
Well, I mean, it's just not looking good. I read a lot of these things and the details, and dude, he definitely wants a finger in his butt. Like that's his thing. I read the woman who released a very long description of it, like step by step, the process of what he's doing.
Yeah.
It's the same pattern of the women are walking into the room. He's naked. They're like, dude, put a towel on. There's a whole fight over that. There's a whole fight over him taking it off, he flipping over. The towel comes off when it was covering his butt. Then suddenly his dick's out. Like, there's a whole thing. His line clearly is get in there.
Yeah.
And yeah, dude, there are women who will have no problem just shoving a finger in your ass. I don't know.
Meanwhile, somewhere Steve Harvey's like, we have top 5 answers on the board. We asked 100 people, if you were with a masseuse, what hole would you ask her to put her finger in? And somebody's like, butthole. He's like, oh, come on. What? Come on. We were looking for ear hole, mouth hole, nose hole, eye hole. Come on. Finger and butts. I mean, what? This is a daytime TV show. Can't be talking about butts. They're like, Steve, what? I didn't even think that you could possibly finger a nose hole. He's like, well, you can.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you saw, you see sponsors are dropping now.
Yeah.
So Nike and Beats by Dre.
How's that flex going?
Or people have like weird addictions or vices.
Yeah.
Sexual ones. And I should and this could be, and I don't even want to label things weird. Like, I don't care if you're into stuff sexually. Like, I don't even like judging that stuff. Like, whatever. Like, I mean, we joke about it, but
you're not kink shaming.
Well, because people might say I'm into weird stuff. I don't know, So like, I try not to, I mean, we joke, like, I'm not a foot person, but like, if some dude wants to suck toes, go suck toes. I am barefoot, by the way. Speaking of Tug was coming at me hard on. You see that?
No.
I made a joke about
about your foot, about your taking your shoes off thing.
It was like, dude, literally there was a whole thing on Dirty Sports about me not wearing my shoes. Like I wore them just sometimes just for the show, but like I then Tug a little aggressive on me. I'm just saying, like, and then your manager, thank Randy, had my back and sent a gift. Like, Tug, wait, like Ruther does wear shoes sometimes for the show, but like, come on.
There was a lot of your bare feet too. You're like, I just like the idea that you're like, listen, if you're into toes, suck some toes. Somewhere Quentin Tarantino's bat signal went up. He's like, yeah. Dirty Sports, love those guys, sucking toes.
Was he a toe guy?
Oh, you don't know about the Quentin Tarantino? Have you watched any Quentin Tarantino movie? Do you know how many naked women's toes there are in Quentin Tarantino movies?
Of course, I've watched his movies. I guess is that a thing?
I mean, Kill Bill. There's an entire scene where she's like just trying to move her toe. You remember that?
Of course.
And then there's the foot fetish, the foot massage thing in Pulp Fiction, and her walking through her house. No shoes. Like, yeah, Quentin Tarantino's Mr. Foot.
Him and Rex Ryan.
Yeah.
All right, so we have another call from the same area code.
Okay.
So NorCal.
I got dirt balls in the same area code.
This is a follow-up from we had the Anthony Rizzo drunk story.
Right.
So this is a follow-up to
Intimate Donuts and Milk.
Yes. This is a follow-up with his own athlete drunk story featuring former Raider Sebastian Janikowski.
Oh boy.
I know. You already know it's going to be good.
Yeah.
Hey, boys. Just listening to Anthony Rizzo call and decided I would call in to share one of my own stories. Back in about 2013, I got a call to a bar. Guy needed a ride home. Got to the bar. There was some yelling going on out front. Long story short, out comes stumbling Sebastian Janikowski. And he was just hammered, smelled really, really bad. And he wanted to go to the gas station. I see him go inside, and he hits the ATM. I'm not kidding you. He was at the ATM for 20 minutes. I was watching him fumble around, stick different cards in. It looked like at one point he was sticking his license in. Dropped a couple debit cards or credit cards. Finally came out. Never got any cash. I had to go back in and pick up his cards and bring it back out to him. Don't know why he was trying to get cash at 2 a.m. Maybe to get some drugs. I don't know. But then took him home. And, oh, by the way, that was a Saturday night before a Raider home game. The next day, he went out, and I'm pretty sure he hit like a 47-yarder. Stay dirty, boys.
So I'm assuming he's a rideshare driver.
Yeah.
He didn't mention that.
He didn't say that, but yeah, I assume as well.
But also 2013, that's when I first learned of Uber.
Yeah.
This is early days.
I love Sebastian Janikowski putting his license into an ATM. That's the ATM machine version of, do you know who I am? Give me some money. They're like, you got to put in a card. He's like, do you know who I am? They're like, I'm a machine. He's like, here's my license.
So I on Drunken Mistakes, I have put in not a license. I lost a credit card once for doing that. I grabbed the wrong card. And it
What do you mean? And it went in the machine?
And just never came out.
You just ate your card?
Dude. Yeah.
It's hilarious.
Did I tell you about the time that I ran from the cab?
No.
Which I did a couple times. I mean, God, I was such an asshole. So my buddy had tickets to what was it? It was like the AMA after party, which was at the MGM. It was all you can drink at MGM. Used to have Studio 54. I don't know if they still do, like their version. And so this is 15 years ago. So it was like still a thing. So my buddy's like, dude, my sister works for this. Like, it's a whole thing. All the celebrities can be there after the AMAs. You want to go? It's all you can drink. And I was like, it was like a weeknight. I was like, fuck yeah. So I am getting lit on Jack and Coke for like 5 hours. And it's like random rockers there. And that was when Hugh Hefner was dating the 3 girls. Like they popped in and it was kind of fun being there. And I'm just getting blacked out drunk. And obviously I can't drive home. I drove down there. It's 2006. So it's pre-Uber. So I take the cab and I realize I don't have any cash. And they didn't take cards back then. So there's a gas station right across the street from the condo complex that I lived. And I'm like, yo, dude, you pull over to the gas station, I'll get you cash. This is what would happen when I used to drink. Like something would click in my head of like, fucking do it. And as I go in to get cash, I say in my head, fuck this guy. I don't feel like paying him. So I walk out and I sprint. It's a 4-way busy street in Las Vegas where I live. Sprint across the street. And it's a giant wall because most communities out there, it's all spread out because there's just a giant condo community, with a center pool. I also don't have the gate opener. So I don't think this.
Car. Right.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's in my car. So I'm not thinking this through. So I sprint and he follows me. He just foot to the gas pedal and he comes up and I scale and he's yelling at me and I scale the wall and like fall over drunk, all to not pay like $35.
My old roommate, Joe Cuervo, used to do that. He used to get he'd get so drunk and he wouldn't have any cash pre credit card. He would take a cab and he would like give him an address like 7 blocks from our apartment in Brooklyn. And then he would get out and he'd be like, and he was like a good athlete. He played college baseball at like Seton Hall. He was like a stud high school football player. He was like, ain't no cab driver in America that can keep up with me for 7 blocks. And he would get out and he would just start running. He said they'd chase him all the time, but they'd give up like 2-3 blocks in. He's like, no one ever made it 4 blocks like of me full sprinting. And he would get back to our place and he'd be like, just ran from like South First and White. I'd be like, bro, it was like, just come inside. I'll give you $15. Like, how many people have you now run away from? Like one of them's eventually going to catch you and it's going to be our ass on it. So I was like, just, let me pay for your cab.
Yeah. I did that.
Addicted to it.
I did that a few times. I did that once in Cincinnati, same thing. I mean, I sprinted. This dude, same thing. He takes me to the bank and I sprinted down some hill and it's just darted into the suburbs. Like,
well, we know Sebastian Janikowski ain't sprinting away from Ubers. But yeah, it's safe to say that he needed that cash for either drugs or snacks. I mean, I guess you could pay for the snack at a credit card. So.
Well, he also got busted. He was like trying to date rape girls at Florida State, remember?
Yeah.
So he's got a history, man.
Yeah. Janikowski.
Yeah.
Polish kickers.
Can't say that. Canceled.
What? That's exactly what he was.
Canceled. Can't bring his ethnic background into it. Canceled. All right. Here's a call of for me, a concerned dirtball about. The dirtballs are really concerned about my.
We're all concerned for you, Andy.
Okay. Well, let's hear this one out.
Hey, Joe and Andy. It's Randy, the alcoholic Army dirtball. So I was listening to the episode.
But by the way, real quick, I love I'm like, there's so much pride in that. Do you notice?
Yeah.
Like I'm the alcoholic
Army dirtball.
Like I'm the guy with the gun that's supposed to be getting the enemies, but I'm drunk all the time. Anyway.
Recently where y'all were talking about Kings Island and the people who go there alone. And it made me think of this fucking weirdo that I worked with when I was in high school. I worked at a movie theater for like 3 or 4 years. And this guy he was like an older dude, like in his 40s or something. And he worked the projection up in the top. So he was up there in his little fucking nest all the time. And then he would come down and talk to us. And he was the most awkward person. He would always be like, how you doing, sir? He was the weirdest fucking guy. And then would tell us stories about going to Six Flags with his roller coaster enthusiast fucking group. And so, Andy, I'm begging you, please do not become a fucking roller coaster guy. one of those fucking weirdos. All right, boys, stay dirty.
I enjoy roller coasters, but there is like the roller coaster subculture, which I don't think you want to get in. I don't think you want to be coaster guy.
No, but also he's at least going with people. Like,
what's that?
He's saying he has a group. He's not going by himself. He's going with people.
But I think his point is like being the subculture of like the coaster enthusiasts is a weird bunch.
Yeah, I agree.
Spending a lot of your time upside down. It probably can't be healthy.
I'd
like to see how many roller coaster enthusiasts have killed their families because of CTE as well.
I'm not becoming. First of all, I haven't. I assume I can still go with the old denty up here. I haven't been on a roller coaster since the old brain injury. I assume it wouldn't matter.
Yeah,
right.
I don't know. I think you're fine.
But I'm not. But yeah, I'm not joining like roller coaster aficionados of America
yet.
I mean, you guys act like I'm hanging on by a thread out here. Like
we are worried about you.
Because you push that propaganda.
I don't push it. Tug and I were talking about it the other day. We were like, man, Andy's like in his basement going through old high school football tapes. We're worried about this guy. I actually said the other day, I was like, we need Kings Island to open stat. We need to get Andy out of the house. Like, let's at least get some summer on the coasters going.
Yeah, man. Like I said, summer's here or the nice weather. I'm out and about. I cut the front grass yesterday. We had a bee issue in the shed. I had to take care of that.
We had a bee issue in the shed.
There was a bee issue. I said
we had a Michael B. Jordan issue in the shed.
Steve Harvey showed up. His daughter was here. All right. We're going to wrap it up with that call. Guys, again, hotline 310-359-8365. Give us a ring. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram. Leave an iTunes review. Blah, blah, blah.
At Fix Your Life on Twitter, at Joe Praino on all other social media. I posted a stand-up clip today on Instagram and TikTok, so check that out. I saw it.
It's funny.
You like it?
I liked it.
My boy Nick did a little edit on it for me, put some captions on it. So follow me on those things and see those things. I'll be at the Stand next Wednesday, the Stand in New York City. Come out, come see a show. We're trying to bring stand-up comedy back. It's time. People are getting vaccinated. People are being healthy. Limited audiences. Let's go. And yeah, spend the rest of the day watching baseball and the Masters and drinking some Miller Lights. So if you're watching the Masters and drinking Miller Lights, send us a picture of it. Tag me. And tag our show and tag Miller Lite.
All right, guys. Have a great weekend.
Listen to the Dirty Slides and listen to the Masters podcast. All right, that's it.
He's pushing it all. Yeah, guys. Thank you for supporting the show. Thanks again to Emiliano for that amazing O.J. Simpson jersey. And enjoy birthday, Alan. You have a good girlfriend. I can tell. I don't even know her, but I can tell the fact that she reached out and sent a nice message. You got a good girl. So hold on to her. Dirtballs, have a great weekend. Be smart. Be safe.